Today on Your Morning Goss, we have quite a bit of Vanderpump Rules news with the folks on Vanderpump Rules, the Valley, and so forth. So we're gonna dive into that. With that said, subscribe. This is Bravo Hot Tea. I cover Bravo, Housewives, Vanderpump Rules, some good pop culture tea. I appreciate the support, the like, all the good YouTube stuff. With that said, let's get into it. Okay, so Lala has definitely been getting quite a lot of heat for her behavior on the show this season that just aired, and of course, all her comments and all her yapping on her own podcast, on Amazon Live, and whatever other podcast she's been on. But we gotta give our girl Lala flowers when she deserves it. Good for her for landing this collab with Ninja. I guess they have a new line of beverages. Let's take a look at that. Guys, I don't have sound, so let's take a look at Miss Lala. So yeah, they have a new line of beverages, different flavors that you can add to your water. And obviously, Lala had the water tasting event with that water sommelier. So, in terms of branding, this makes perfect sense. Um, yeah, she's definitely getting a lot of props for this brand deal. So, good for her. And if you guys think about it, whether you are reading an article on TMZ, Page Six, or whatever, at the end of the day, they're there, yes, to present their articles and I don't know journalism when it comes to celebrity news and pop culture, but really they're there to get ad sales. So in terms of Bravo, that's essentially what they do. They have their folks on Housewives on the different shows, and then whoever's brand matches the advertiser, they'll pair them up. Like obviously we had that huge ad where Kyle was on it, Kenya was on it, and it was for the NFL. Teresa was on it. They'll use some of their bigger Bravo stars for bigger deals. But anyways, good for Lala. She looks great. She's preggo. She did the water tasting. This made sense. However, some other things are not looking good for her. So this is a blind item. So again, like let's cautiously go through this. This now former bar star has been nonstop texting and calling producers to add her to the other bar show. She is desperate for money. Now, anyone can send a blind item, like, I'm assuming that's how it works, so anytime these come out, sometimes they're wrong or sometimes who people think it's not about, so let's just take it with a grain of salt. Essentially saying that, she's texting producers so that she's not just on Vanderpump Rules, but she can have a spot on The Valley, which The Valley isn't really the other bar show, but I guess, like, Jax's studio bar, it is a big part of the show. So the other bar show, I guess that makes sense. In addition to this, I can't remember where I saw this, but either like she talked about it somewhere, and this was recent, how buying her third house, so like her newest house, which I believe it's like 3 million. It's getting up there in terms of the numbers. How she like overpaid or it was like a little out of budget. Look, it doesn't matter if you are purchasing you're new to the market, you're purchasing your first home or your first condo, you will always go over budget. You will always spend a little bit more than what you thought you would expect. That's just how the market is right now. And with all these reports coming out, it's not looking good for her. Like, I'm going to assume she's overwhelmed with paying for three mortgages plus another baby on the way. Like, it's a lot. Like, just running one household is a lot, and now you have your name on 3 mortgages. I don't know what she was thinking. Even if she did want to, her and Sheena wanted to buy a house in the valley, You don't have to buy like the biggest house. You can buy a house if it's just going to be part of your portfolio and you want to sell it later. Unless this is like her home where she wants to raise both her kids, and then I don't know, maybe down the road she'll sell the other homes she has to her name. But anyways, that's the news with Lala. Good for her for the Ninja commercial for the water. Now let's move on to some other Bravo Lebs. Well, not Bravo Lebs, Vanderpump Rules folks. Okay, Rachel Raquel the stalker. So Rachel Leviss explains why she'll be watching Tom Sandoval on the Traitors. Oh my God. I remember Rachel saying how she's gonna like stop talking about what do you call it? She's gonna stop talking about like Ariana and like Vanderpump Rules and all that once the season is over. And now she's like continuing talking about these folks. Like, girl, just move on. You left the show. I mean, if she came back to the show, that would have been great, but she chose to leave the show for her mental health. And now what is she doing? She's still, talking about Tom. So she said, I think I might have to tune in to watch that. So Rachel said this to Entertainment Tonight. I have been watching last season's Traitors. The dynamic is very interesting. I may have to tune in for this because I feel like he is a master manipulator. He sure is. It would be very interesting to see his tactics in a situation where it's encouraged to be manipulative. And then she said, put on your psychology cap for this one because it's very interesting. It's Her behavior is just alarming. Like what she says and what she does are, you know, polar opposite. And yeah, I'm gonna assume she'll probably do like a day on her podcast that she dedicates to traders at this point. It's just absurd, her behavior. We have something to look forward to, which is the Valley is getting production back on in mid-July. So that is about like 3 weeks to go. Three and a half weeks to go. That's when they will start production. Obviously, the Valley was they did amazing in terms of ratings. There was a lot of great buzz about it throughout the season. When the Valley was first introduced, I recall a lot of people were kind of like whatever about it. I have to say, like if I go back to like my videos, my TikToks, whatever, like I was very much like I'll give it a shot, like let me give it a couple episodes, see what it's about. And I'm so glad that I did. We have, fresh faces, people who have been around reality stars and they're, friends to a group of people who are reality veterans, like Kristen, um, Jax and Brittany, and then, like Janet, we've seen her here and there on Vanderpump Rules. But for the most part, they were pretty green when it comes to reality TV. And for fans, it was just such a treat watching these new folks and their relationship dynamics. We have, a couple not married trying to have kids. We have couples, who are preggo and are about to pop and have a kid. And then we have some other couples with like multiple kids. So there's that. We have couples who are in, happy, loving homes and they talk to one another. And then we have couples who are they're not even like halfway out the door. They have checked out and they are out the door. And then we have couples, who are like Josh and Brittany. They're out the door, but they don't want to admit it. They're half in, half out. Also, I don't know what's going on with Jax and Brittany, but on their newest podcast, they're being like flirty with one another. I don't know. It's weird. At this point, I am convinced Jackson Brittany, they're trying to pull one over us because if you are separated from your man, it was so bad living with him that you then got an Airbnb for yourself and your kid. And then you're back on a podcast filming with him and being all chummy chummy. I don't know. I find it really fishy. So that's the tea with the Valley. Obviously, they had no reunion. So starting filming shortly after the show ends and giving them a shorter break totally makes sense. And you guys, I'm happy to relay that Sheena and Lala are not on the Valley. They are not casted for the new season. So thank goodness. Are we gonna see a couple appearances? Yeah, sure, maybe, that's fine. But they're not gonna be, like, part of the mix, We're still gonna give this crew, a chance to continue their, storylines, and that'll be fun to watch. Okay, so I covered it earlier on this morning segment, Your Morning Goss, like, I don't know, maybe last week or the week before. The official Bravo TV experience, they are bringing it to New York City and LA. Those are like the two cities. Bravo is launching this Bravo experience. Obviously, there is no BravoCon this year, and I'm not surprised given all the lawsuits and everything going on with just the housewives and some of their other Bravo loves in general. But basically, they have tickets now, and then they said, what did they say? Tickets for the Diamonds and Rose experience in New York City are now live. I remember when I last clicked on it, it was like you have to be on a wait list, but I guess now tickets are available. And then if your motto is, I have a taste for luxury, and luxury has a taste for me, experience the world of, Housewives, Pump Rules, Below Deck, Summer House more in real life. So I'm thinking this is like some sort of like a pop-up experience, and it's going to go on for a number of weeks into fall. And I remember when I last took a look at it, the prices were actually like fairly reasonable, which is nice. And I don't know if folks are going to get to like meet actual housewives there. It just seems like one of those things you like walk through, take pics with, and I don't know, get like a piece of memorabilia. I don't know how to say that word. But you guys get the point. It's just gonna be like a lot of like nostalgia, celebrate iconic moments. That's what I'm thinking. This is what this Bravo TV experience is going to be. So if any of you went to like, yeah, if any of you went to BravoCon, like, let me know in the comments below what the boots were like. I'm going to assume it's going to be a taste of BravoCon with the different booths, and this is what this experience will be in New York and LA. For New York, if you're in the tri-state area, like definitely go. I think it's like a fun thing to do in New York. Anyways, guys, I am gonna keep this your morning goss short. Tons of Vanderpump Rules update. We got tons to talk about throughout the day, so definitely subscribe, tune in for good content, and I will catch you all later.